When the PI Network first met in 2007, we brought together leaders from 15 advocacy organizations representing 12 states. They met around a small table, and the value proposition for that meeting couldn't be more simple. Then, if an education reform organization existed at all in a state, it was often the only reform voice at the microphone when policy was debated in chambers. By helping those organizations to work better together, we knew that we could multiply their impact. And we knew that by bringing outside voices into the debate, the laws that define public education would be more likely to work for kids. PI's main objectives are to build, promote, and support the education reform movement. As a convener and a connector, the PI Network builds relationships and focuses on service and support of the advocates working in state capitals. We hold an annual policy summit that helps them anticipate the upcoming legislative session, and every member of the network brings a team to that conversation. As an accelerant, we help our members advance changes in policy to improve public schools. Our member organizations connect with each other through our biannual leaders meetings, in policy study groups, and through our communicators network. PI has proven the power of a network to amplify and to accelerate. First, we've built a team of connectors to support the network. Some are great people connectors. Some are resource sponges who find great policy and communications tools and then connect those with our member organizations. Others build the virtual tools that connect the 45 organizations that work together in the network with each other. Second, we're highly efficient because we organize organizations. For example, our annual policy summit is an invitation-only event. Every member organization brings a team from their state. And because it's a summit of carefully selected leaders, it's regularly described as one of the best working meetings in the education reform sector. The network is effective because everyone believes every child in this country deserves a great public school. But the public school system doesn't deserve every child. Serving children should be a privilege that they earn with great results. We're also effective because we're nonpartisan. The education reform movement remains one of the enduring bipartisan causes in this country, in part because we believe that kids are more important than partisan politics. Finally, PI is effective because we are connectors. We knit together the organizations and the people who are leading education reform across the country. That work multiplies everyone's impact. Evidence is a key ingredient in the accountability we ask from public schools. We therefore demand similar accountability from our own work. We collect metrics on everything we do. We evaluate our meetings, track our social media, and monitor who's reading our newsletters and our publications. All these metrics tell us that we're a high-value proposition. Through an annual legislative survey, we're also tracking what's happening in state capitals across the country as our members advance education reform. We're now several years into that work and can begin to monitor trends. Our approach to supporting and building this network is counterintuitive to many more conventional organizations. We know that all politics are local, so we're not trying to build a splashy household national brand. We promote the work that's happening in state capitals that's led by local organizations and leadership. Also, PI Network members are committed to a broad reform agenda, but the organization itself doesn't take positions on issues. We don't engage directly in advocacy, and we certainly don't dictate which issues are priorities for each of our member states year to year. Sometimes funders think that means we're weak because we can't make promises about which states will work on which issues. But it's precisely because we only play a supporting role that we are uniquely able to convene the sector. And by bringing everybody together, we foster the connections and the collaboration that so many funders hope will strengthen their investments. The The organizations we support are very careful not to take direct credit for passing laws in their state. That credit is due to the courageous lawmakers who champion change. And because we play a supporting role to the advocacy sector, we're especially careful not to take direct credit for their contributions toward that work. Our role is really to help those state-level groups work more effectively and to collaborate with each other. Sometimes they say we're like a protein booster in the movement. But because we promote the work of our members, we've become an important information source about the accomplishments in the sector over the past few years. Some examples include advancing policies that support effective teaching, that provide more education options for families and students, and raising standards for student learning. Pi Network began as a pilot project. For the first several years, the network was supported by a lean virtual team. We spent many years proving our value before we invested in permanent operations. Pi became an independent nonprofit in 2011. We've recently established headquarters in Minneapolis, and now we're here to stay. This year, we launched a Leadership Institute that attracted some of the network's most promising leaders, so we're eager to further expand this program. We're also building an innovation fund that helps reform organizations to deepen their strategic capacity and to translate cutting-edge research into specific action plans for their states. Also, over the next several years, most states will be strengthening their learning goals and improving the tests that measure them. So we're investing a great deal in communications to help our member organizations prepare for these important changes. Pi Network has 45 member organizations working in 28 states plus the District of Columbia. What that means, of course, is that in 22 states there are still no public voices in their state capitals working to improve public schools. Starting these new organizations presents a chicken and an egg challenge. Launching new organizations requires several months of organizing and planning, yet the early planning phase is the hardest to get funded. We're eager to fill that void so that we can bring that public voice to state capitals all across the country.